No country in the world can prosper on its own. Every country needs to have a strategic alliance with another country based on its competitive advantages and based on what other countries have to offer. Thus, you find UK trying to ally with India, with US, China, and many other countries. Same is the case with India. It's trying very hard to enter into many strategic partnerships with many companies in the US, in the UK, and so on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the UK may be lauded for a good attempt in that direction, and definitely it's going to boost India UK ties, economic ties, and political ties, and this is really going to be good for both the countries. However, in the midst of all this, one needs to take into consideration an extremely important factor. You may facilitate investments between countries by opening up blocked roads, by defreezing the various limits of foreign investments. But in order for all this to be very successful, you need to create an invigorating environment within the country, first of all. And secondly, and probably most importantly, the world needs to be in a facilitative mood. At this point of time, the world does not seem to be in as facilitative a mood as one would like or imagine. Diwali has been celebrated with great fanfare in India and various other parts of the world. And a lot of people tend to compare investor returns from last Diwali to this one, and then they throw up projections about what's going to happen next. Now, these projections and predictions have got value if you understand that there are various economic cycles which are going to happen between now and the next year. If you cannot understand what's going to happen, then how are you going to make a prediction? How are you going to guide an investor, and how is an investor going to make intelligent decisions? Similarly, anybody making a foreign direct investment in any country needs to understand the potential of that country, which in the case of US, UK, and India is very clear. But they also need to understand uh, what is the shape of the world economy that is going to happen, going to assume in the year to come. Unless and until one is not clear about this, investments across the globe are going to be facing many roadblocks. But that does not mean one cannot take preparatory steps in advance. One can and one should. And this is what exactly the various visits of the Indian Prime Minister to many important countries like US and UK trying to bring about. And not only is this perspective important, but another thing is, you as an ordinary investor, or I just presume you're ordinary, uh, need to understand what will be the shape the world financial markets, the world economy is going to assume over the next year, next 2 years, or 3 years. Unless and until you don't understand, you'll be faced with many investment advisors which keep saying that you cannot time the market. That if you have to invest, then invest for a period of at least 3 to 4 years. If the markets go more on a downside, then they say invest for at least 5 to 6 years or 7 to 8 years. When their schemes are not working, they say invest for at least 8 to 9 years in the stock market, then you will make above average returns. Well, that's not a way to invest. You may be losing for the next year or two and then gain thereafter. And who would point out how much sleep you're going to lose over the next 2 years if the markets continue on a downhill? What actually happens between now and next year is something that's very interesting. You need to figure out. I see more downside than upside in the global stock markets, but to get a precise idea of what's what I believe is going to transpire between now and next year, do stay tuned. Take care. Bye bye.